I'm going to start from the middle of the song to go through it clearest. The middle of the song, when the music changes, is when they, as in Kendrick and his friends, ran out of the car into a shop to commit a robbery. He has a gun, and maybe they all do. For example, the metaphor of running with a baton and holding it out to someone, and of them meeting it intimately. When Kendrick says "biatch, no way" 3 times, he is grabbing a woman's bag, presumably her bag. You can imagine a back and forth tussle. That she says "no way" is telling. She doesn't say no as if she were proud and arrogant. She says "no way." Imagine a man with a gun running into a shop with his friends and grabbing your bag and you tugging it and saying "no way" 3 times. Because everyone sees Kendrick as a kid. They're not remotely intimidated by or scared of him. He thinks he's a man committing crimes, but everyone sees him as a kid. Then in the testosterone adrenaline-fueled crazy haze that follows, he betrays the fear that's the reason he's really doing this. I'm never living life confined. This is important because of what happened in the first 2 verses. In the first verse, he talks about money and Paris, opulence. Then he sings the chorus again, and when he feels like he has your ear and trust, something you can hear in his voice, he goes into more detail, deeper into his thoughts about what money and Paris means to him. I've got 25 lights on my dresser. At home, nobody keeps a lighter on their dresser, and in a fancy hotel you don't smoke in the rooms, but in a rubbish hotel you take out what's in your pocket and put it on the dresser. So he is describing being in a dingy hotel with a woman, but because he is 14 or 15, he has obviously not done this himself, and based on the previous song, he is probably talking about an elder influence, say an uncle. So he is describing his idea of the high life in detail, but it's not exactly money in Paris. It sounds kind of dingy. And Kendrick reveals that deep down he knows this when he says, "I'm never living life confined." He knows that people in Compton have predetermined lives and have often a meager version of opulence. It's worth mentioning that the last song ends with a skit where he gets into his friend's car, so this is what they were driving to, and therefore all that precedes the robbery were Kendrick's thoughts, feelings, motivations, memories, etc. on the drive there. The robbery is about more than this line. It means more than the breaking out and grand notions of testosterone-fueled Kendrick. It's everything that he's thinking and that he's telling himself to think. As a bit of backstory from before Backstreet Freestyle, at the end of the first song, Kendrick gets waved across the road by Shireen, and what does he see? 2 guys, 2 black hoodies. He paused and his phone rang. Then the call goes to voicemail. So Kendrick is getting beaten up. That's why he can't answer the phone. Then in the call, Kendrick's dad says, "Matter of fact, turn my music back on, you're killing my vibe." But in the next song, it's Kendrick who says that line. So we see how attitudes are passed down. That's why we can assume the guy in the hotel is probably Kendrick's uncle. In the end, he raps about how tough he is, again about everything he's thinking and telling himself to think, and eventually he settles down but remains tough, then about how MLK's dream in reality has changed. We find out later that this event was earlier in the same day as the first song when he goes to meet Shireen and gets beaten up, the same day when his friends nurse him back to health and ease his pain with alcohol, and then go and get revenge. At the beginning of the second song, after Kendrick starts getting beaten up, dreamlike music starts playing. At the end of the song, on screen, before swimming pools, the earlier in the day tale is over and more dreamlike music plays, taking us back to the present, with Kendrick in the car and his friends getting him drunk to ease his pain. Therefore, I think during this time Kendrick either blacked or passed out, or deliberately tuned out and turned his mind towards remembering this so he wouldn't feel the pain as a coping mechanism. Therefore, this whole song is happening in his memory as Kendrick is getting beaten up.